to Rec Talks. This presentation is going to be given by MoodyMarlo. He's going to be telling us the magic of storytelling. There are a couple of things I want to go over before we get started, before I bring him out. First, please stay in your seats. Don't try to jump on stage, things like that. All that's going to do is ruin the experience for everyone else and cause you to get kicked from the room. Also, you'll notice that I have the roll-off set so that pretty much everyone's muted. That's because we're streaming this, and I don't want to get picked up by the mic. At the end of the session, everyone will get the chance to ask questions, things like that. So please wait until then to try to get up here. When we do ask questions, please stay at your seats. I'll either bring you a mic or you can type it in the chat. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Marlo out and ask him a few questions, and then let him get into his presentation. So, all right. First, Marlo, my first question is, how long have you been playing Rec Room? Uh-oh. 1 second, Marlo. I can't hear you, which means something has gone wrong. Try now.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Testing.
Yep. All right. So how long have you been playing Rec Room?
I've been playing Rec Room, I believe, starting at December 2017.
Okay. And what got you into using the creative tools?
I played a game that I thought was really fun, and I was sad that it ended too shortly, so I was like, I'm going to make a game just like it, and that's kind of where it started.
Okay. And what kind of challenges have you encountered in Rec Room, either personally or with Rec Room tools or things like that, that made it difficult to achieve what you wanted to make, but that you were able to overcome, and how did you overcome them?
I mean, my personal skill level, for sure, because I don't know, I'm not the greatest, but I've had help with like different friends, so you know, I guess best way I can answer that.
Okay. And of all of your creations, what are you the most proud of, and why?
I think just, I don't know, just where I am now. Like, I like having the opportunity to do something else, just being known for what I've made. Like, I don't know, just that in general is just awesome in my view.
Okay. Well, that's all I have right now. Like I said, I'll just reiterate to everyone, we will be taking questions at the end. We'll also be taking them from the Twitch chat, so if you're watching on Twitch, you can ask your questions there as well. So everyone, please, like I said, stay off the stage, stay at your seats, and I'll let Marlo get into his presentation. I'll open the curtain for him.
Alrighty. Hello, how everyone doing today? Not gonna lie, this is a little nerve-wracking, but I'm just gonna deal with it and just move on like I always did. That's not what I meant to grab. Oh well, it's fallen. Anyway, so yeah, the magic of storytelling. I'm here to explain my process on how I make my rooms and all that good stuff. But I think like the best way I can start this out is to introduce more about myself. So as you heard, hello, name is MoodyMarlo. Nice to meet you all. I'm mainly known for Rec Room for storytelling rooms and rooms that involve a lot of holotars and such like that. It's what I mainly focus on because it's what I love to make a lot. I think the reason why I focused on all of that is kind of what I do on my spare time in real life, because what I do mainly in the real life is that I like to consider myself an entertainer. I'm technically a professional dancer. I've done it for, I want to say, a little over 10 years. And I don't know, just being up on stage, being up on stage in front of like crowds of people, like I don't know, it's just something that I really like enjoy. And for dancing, like I kind of took that skill that I got from dancing, I kind of put it in Rec Room. The way I mean by that is because like with dancing, You know, like I just kind of go up on stage and just kind of do my thing. You know, simple stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. When it gets into the choreography way of that, you know, like you get like a group of people, you kind of like make it like a little routine, have everyone like learn the type of dance and all that, and you get up on stage and all that, which you know it's a lot of fun. Very stressful sometimes because I'm not the best at it, but you know it's just what it is. But what I love about dancing a lot is that you know the choreography, like it, you know, it's really awesome having like you know a bunch of people doing like the same dance moves, all these like do like these tricks and all that, which is great. But what I love more is that you can actually add a lot of storytelling into it, and that's kind of was something that I always focused on when I was dancing. Because like to me, like having like all these people like do all these like cool amazing tricks all together was like really cool to begin with. But when you add a storytelling experience to it, my tracking is a storytelling experience to it, it made that ring even better. And that's kind of like what I enjoy about storytelling. It just makes something that's already good just so much better. And I kind of just fell in love with it. And I kind of took that motive into Rec Room itself. Um, and that's kind of like what I wanted to like talk about the storytelling because in my opinion, with Rec Room itself, with like the custom rooms that you see that's being made, um, you know, every single day, I feel like storytelling rooms have been kind of forgotten. And what I mean is that you know, like if you like look into like the hot tab of your like your little play button, you mainly see, you know, like there's PvPs, hangouts here and there, a couple escape rooms. Now it's a lot of rock climbing, kind of the main thing nowadays. And I don't know. I honestly haven't really seen any storytelling rooms in a while, which is kind of sad because, like, I feel personally that storytelling rooms can do something that none of those rooms can do on their own. And I like to point out like there's nothing wrong with what those rooms do. Like they're all fun and all that. I like some more than others, but with storytelling rooms, they give an experience that all the other rooms aren't actually able to do. Uh, and to explain that even more, like you know, like when you go into a PvP room, you just kind of jump in, grab a gun, you shoot people. That's it. Like there's nothing really else to it. You know, you got your escape rooms, you just go and do puzzles and you find yeah, you know, like super easy, super simple. But with storytelling rooms, you have the ability to have someone go through an experience and be someone that they're not normally able to be on their normal day-to-day life, which I think is just amazing. Like it's something that you don't really get to experience, you know, normally, which you know I love to see. Uh, and the thing is with storytelling is that it can literally be about anything, and that's just what I love. Like if you like wanted to make a storytelling room, well, I don't know, maybe you want to make a storytelling room about like a knight that's going out to save the princess from like some amazing dragon from the fortress. You can do that. Or if you wanted to, oh, I don't know, be some sophisticated spy, you know, that's all about, you know, like passion and romance and wants to take down, you know, the Russian military. You can do that too. Well, or if you want to go to a different route, you can be a superhero. It's all about what did I just grab? All about strength and honor, but it's also a little silly and ridiculous. You can do that, and that's just what I love about storytelling. Like you, like whatever that comes to your mind, you can do, and it's awesome that way. Uh, I completely broke that. Holy crap!
You just
Let me
holstered
just.
another one
Oh, I did.
on your back.
Wow, that's weird.
Okay, it's off.
I completely broke that. That is funny. Just forget you saw that. That's hilarious. Oh well. All right. All right. Now that that's kind of put on the side. Okay. So now with can understand how I enjoy storytelling and all that. I guess I will move on to how I like to, how do you say, go through the process of making storytelling rooms. Um, Honestly, compared to like most rooms and all that, it's not the hardest. Like it's quite simple, honestly. But I think it's kind of important. But I think the best way that I can explain it is if we can do one together, technically. We technically make a room as a group. And the best way I could do that is make a room about a story that we all probably know. It's a very popular story. It's the story of the Ugly Duckling. Everyone can see that, right? I want to give a huge shout out to my friend Southern Ashley. She's the one that built this masterpiece. Oh, it's a pretty cool little painting that she made. Is that good? Can you see it? Okay, all right. Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah, the Ugly Duckling. I'm pretty sure everyone's like heard about the Ugly Duckling, but I don't know if anyone actually knows like the full story. I know like when I read it, like there were some things that I didn't know about it, but the story with the Ugly Duckling, it's a story about an ugly duckling, of course, that is trying to, have a good time with its brothers and sisters, but since it's ugly, the brothers and sisters kind of treat him terribly. Like ignore him, don't really care like how he's feeling, and it's just a terrible situation. And the ugly duckling gets so sad that he decides to run away. When he does, he kind of runs off into the forest and almost freezes to death. Luckily, when he's in the forest, a random man appears and saves the ugly duckling and takes the ugly duckling to its home to nurture and care for it, raise it. Uh, it stays there for a while until, the children kind of get a little hectic and the ugly duckling gets scared of that and runs away a second time. This time when it runs away into a pond and stays there throughout the whole winter. And when spring comes around, he noticed something swimming in the pond. In the pond, he noticed a beautiful swan swimming on its own, and being, I guess a male, just kind of like wishes that he wants to talk to the beautiful swan, but thinking of himself, he's just like, she won't talk to me because he's ugly. And then he looks into his reflection in the pond, and he noticed that he wasn't an ugly duckling to begin with. He was actually a beautiful swan himself. So he goes and talks to the beautiful swan in the pond, and they fall in love, and they live happily ever after. And that is the story of the Ugly Duckling. It's, pretty cool story, I think. So with that in mind, if we are going to make a story room based on that story, there's two ways that we can do it. We can either go the well, how can I say this? There's two different ways that you can make a story room. I don't know if anyone's like ever like realized this, but those two different ways. You either got the first person route, the interactive story story room, interactive story room. This is very common in Rec Room, I believe, because another way that you can call it is it's literally just a quest where the player is actually a part of the story, and they go on and they do their thing. They like fight the baddie or do some puzzles and go through the actual game as the character itself. It's very common. Some very popular rooms that already done that. I'm gonna like think in like contest rooms. Once Upon a Time was an interactive story. Laps of the Jumbotron was also another one, a very popular one. Some of mine, I would say, the Lost Lavalier and the Rec Room dating sim. That was interactive. But Besides the interactive, another route that you can also take is the narrative route, like a third-person view. And that the way that that works is that the player isn't a part of the story at all. It's more of the audience, like you guys. And sadly, I don't really know many rooms in Rec Room that have done that route besides my own. Like of mine, it's the Sad Man and Laura Bennett. The only room that I can think of, I don't know if it counts, and that's it was made by a 7-year-old. I don't know. So yeah, we got the two different story directives. They're the interactive or the theatrical. And with that in mind, we kind of have to go with a different way how I process the stories. And that way is this. What I do with my stories is that so I kind of think of what story I want to do. So if we have the Ugly Duckling, what I would do, Drummer Geek, can you see this? Do I need to move this to the side as well? Okay, all right. Is that good? All right, okay. So with the story in mind of the Ugly Duckling, what I like to do first is that I like to focus on the key points of the story and section them off individually. So with the story of the Ugly Duckling, you first have, the duckling being, ugly and being, ignored by its siblings, the brother and sister treating him wrong. Then you have him running away from its family into the woods or the cottage or whatever. Then he, almost gets frozen to death and saved by the family. Then he runs away, finds a beautiful swan, beautiful ending, and happy ever after. Woo, done. So yeah, those are the major key points. What I would do with these key points, each key point would be its own subroom. So we would have, I guess, maybe like a title or like a lobby room, and then the first room would be the ugliest among its siblings, like this first key point, and that only. Like we would only focus on that alone. So and then you'll have the second room as a second key point, and so on and so forth. And then that's technically the process of going through the making the story rooms. So now if we already have that written down and we want to either make it interactive or narrative, you got to think like which way we want to do it. For me personally, I honestly think the narrative route would probably be the easiest because, you honestly just have to make some ducks and then make the ducks move while the narration is going, which is pretty easy. But for this situation, I think we're just going to talk through both choices. So with the narrative, I think the best way to do it is we'll have someone narrate the story itself while the creatures, I guess, the Makerpin shapes are moving and telling the story. Very simple. You can probably get like a Holotar playing the family, simple, super easy. But let's say you want to do something different and you want to go a more interactive route where you have the player play as the Ugly Duckling. That can be a little difficult, especially like with this because, like I said, to make an interesting quest, I would say, you don't want them just like to walk around and just like, be the Ugly Duckling and just listen to everything. You want them to go through some games and activities and all that. So, you want to make something that is interesting and interactive. I don't know. I'm losing words, but also follows along with the story. So if we would make the very first subroom of an interactive thing, so the player would be the Ugly Duckling, and the idea is that the siblings are technically ignoring him. The first thing that comes to mind that I would do is that I see it'd be kind of like a hide and seek kind of thing to where you would make some kind of environment, being like around the pond or everything, and the objective is to find your siblings. Because the Ugly Duckling is trying to have play with the siblings. But every time that he's trying to play with the siblings just ignore it. So every time you find one of the siblings, one after another, they would just, straight up ignore you and just like walk away, maybe saying like a hurtful thing after they walk away, something simple. And when you find them all, you go and find the mother duck, but when you get there, she's already swimming down the pond, and there's no way that you can actually catch up to her. You know, that way, it's something that the player can actually enjoy and do, but also doesn't stray away from the story itself, which um, I would like to talk more about that because I feel like that's a very important thing to focus on when making like an interactive story. Um, because there's a certain rule that I always like to follow personally when it comes to story rooms, and that one rule is to make sure that whatever happens in your story, there has to be a reason for it. Um, and that's mainly because you don't want your story to have any plot holes. You don't like the one thing you definitely don't want when you have people going through your story room is for them to come to you afterwards going, why? Like, why did this happen? Why is that going on? Why did he say that thing? Because when you have people going to you asking why, it just kind of makes it seem very sloppy and unfinished, and that's just not a good thing to have. So when I do my story rooms, when it comes to like certain things like this, whatever happens in the story, I want to have like some kind of reason for it happening. If I can like just make like a random example, let's say a group of adventurers are like going off to like do some quest, and while they're going through the forest, a random stone golem appears, and you have to fight them. Woo woo. Something simple. Um, I feel like if there's no explanation for all of that, some people would probably ask like, so why did the stone golem appear there? Like, why do we have to do this? Why can't we just keep on walking? It it would suck, hearing that from somebody. But let's say if you want to add a little detail and make sure that no one has a chance to ask that. Let's say in the very beginning when the adventurers, like see some kind of like cliff, and he's like, oh, that'd be cool to like, toss a rock down there or something, and the rock has a chain reaction to possibly hit something down there, most likely the rock golem, and he gets pissed, you know, so mad that he wants to start like attacking some people, and that's when he pops up in the story, and maybe he's able to talk, and he's like, who tossed that rock? It it's super simple and very small, but that amount of detail just can make it even better than it already is, and it will fill that plot hole. So it's like, I don't know, killing two birds with one stone in a way. So yeah, when you make the interactive game in your story, make sure it stays with the story and have a reason for everything that's happening. That way, the story will look more clean and more, I guess, professional. So yeah, so yeah, pretty much you do that for each one, and that's honestly, that's technically it. uh, when it comes to storytelling rooms, there's not really much to it. You technically just find a story that you really want. You focus on the plot point. You make the sub rooms with those plot points, and you just make sure it's clean throughout. It has a good beginning, good end, good middle, and then that's it. So yeah, that's honestly all I can say about storytelling. But I don't want to end there. I want to add a little bit more in the end because working mainly with stories, I kind of learned something about it, especially about myself, and I kind of just wanted to share that, with everyone here, because working on custom rooms and rec room, you got a bunch of people that are pretty much well known, like top creators, I would like to say. Um, when people are talking about rooms and creating stuff and all that, they usually focus on two different things. It's either the maker pen shapes, building, making huge environments, animations and all that, or circuitry, where it's like huge, crazy logic that most people don't really understand. I'm lagging like crazy. It's either one or the other. The thing is, I technically consider a top creator, like huge subscriber count and all that. But the funny story is, I suck at both. I can't build, and I have no nothing going with circuitry. Like with the building, I can barely build. I can barely build a house. It's not gonna look good. And with circuits, when all these people are coming by that are good at circuits, they come in and look at all this crazy stuff, and they're just like, okay, yeah, I understand that. That's pretty cool. And I come in, I'm just like, that's a lot of colors. Very colorful. I like it. It's just I don't understand it. I'm just not good at it. And the thing is, me being that skilled at all this stuff, and I'm sitting at, I am lagging. Oh my gosh! How I'm sitting at 4,500 subs, and I don't know how to do any of this stuff. I don't understand it. But I guess in a way, with everyone focusing on those two kinds of things, I think there's other ways that you can go with custom rooms. I kind of realize, in my opinion, to be well known as a creator and to be good at what you do, I think there's only 4 things that you need to know. The first thing that you need to know, is very important, is to understand your maker pen. Because this is your main tool that you're going to use when making rooms. It's very important. Even though you might not be good at it, especially for me, I can happily say that I can understand going through all this, what everything. If people like me and ask how do you do this and such, I feel like I'm knowledgeable enough to actually understand and explain everything to them. So yeah, understanding your maker pen is very, very important. So if you don't really know it, I suggest finding, going to a random room and just it's very important. The second thing that I think is to stay consistent with your rooms. I say that because I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of people, especially here, that there's a few people here that make rooms for a living. I'm pretty sure some of them had this amazing idea for a room, and they're just yeah, let's start building it. They get really into it, and then they start building into it, and then they just stop, and then it just becomes a dead room, which it sucks. I've been there. I had a room on hold for a year. It sucks. So I feel if you ever have an amazing idea for a room, and you think it will go far, I suggest to try to stay with it as much as you can. Of course, take breaks. You don't want to just kill yourself with constant work, but be more with it, and it won't die, hopefully. Third step, and this one is, I want to say, harder than it sounds, but try to think outside the box when you're making your rooms. Because I know a lot of people, especially when certain fads come out, especially with rock climbing today, people just kind of make the same thing. Right now there's 20, 30, 500 different rooms right now that's all just about climbing, and they're all technically all the same thing. I'm not wrong, right? But if you want to be recognized for what you do, try to think of something that nobody has done before, and people will enjoy what you made. And like I said, it's a lot harder than it sounds, but when you find something that actually works and that no one's ever done it before, it's great. You feel good afterwards. And the fourth rule that I realized, I honestly think this is the most important rule besides, understanding the maker pen. But the fourth rule is to love what you do. It sounds cheesy, I know, but it's as true as it is because like for me, like story, like I freaking love it. Like I do it all my spare time. Like I don't know, it's just something that I really adore. Uh, like I don't know, probably like the best way that I can explain it is like if you have like a group of friends and like you go into like some kind of like campfire or whatever and you were sitting around and someone just randomly asks like, does anyone have any horror stories? I immediately jump out and I'm like, I got 5 right now, let's do this. Like I'm one of those people. And then one of them's going like, do you know this guy? Like, do we need to call the police? Like, like, but yeah, it just find something that you really love, maybe like a certain hobby that you like really enjoy, and try to find a way to bring in a rec room that way that you just never let it go. Because this is definitely something I'm not gonna let go. But yeah, that's technically it. I feel like I've talked enough about stuff. I like it how now everyone's starting to walk in, like right when I'm about finishing up. But yeah, I honestly don't have anything else to say. I hope I didn't you know blabber on for too much. But yeah, but thank you guys for coming. I hope you guys enjoyed me randomly saying stuff. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Moody. That was a great presentation. I mean, a great presentation.
Again, if you're talking, are you talking?
I was, but I'm
Been
on
a
push to
weird
talk.
day today.
I'm on push to
Ah,
talk.
gotcha.
There. Now I can talk normally. I turn on push to talk so I
Nice,
wouldn't
nice.
be feeding back whenever things are going on my side during your presentation.
Right.
No, I was gonna say it was a great presentation. I mean, that was really good. So thank you very much for having that. We're now going to open it up to questions from the room. So if you can, we have a lot of people in here. So there are a couple ways you can ask questions. Like we'll take a mic around and hand it to you if you have one. You can also type it in the chat. So, all right. So
I'd
let me
just like
get
to point out someone actually put, "Who is this guy?" That's just funny to me.
I saw that, and then asked you to play Wonderwall.
Wonder what? Oh, okay.
All right. So, all right, everyone, please stop jumping around and stuff like that. If you have questions, just wait, raise your hand. So, King Donkey, he's got his hand up. I'll start with him. So, take the mic. No, you don't have a question? Okay. Well, don't raise your hand if you don't have a question. All right. Tyson, are you saying you have a question? Okay. Here you go. Pick that up. All right.
Yeah, a while ago, you remember how there was the go-kart
That's
before,
not
and then it got
this.
deleted.
Please stop. That's not what this is. All right. Are there any actual questions in here? Yes, I know I muted the audience. That's supposed to happen. I bring the mic around if you have a question. So here you go. Oh, I can't hear you. Drop the mic and pick it up. It doesn't always take.
Hello? Hello?
There we go. Okay,
Hello?
I can hear you.
Yep,
Okay.
Yep.
Good. Hello. So MoodyMarlo.
Yep.
Two questions, if that's okay. Am I good with 2?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
you can have it too.
Okay. All right, sure. First off, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
All right, that was very. I wish you had more information there, but okay. I really want to ask you, Moody. What do you think was the moment in your Rec Room career that spurred you from being just one of the normal people, start gaining people as followers? What was the moment, would you say, that you started gaining followers for you?
When I won the very first creators contest, I'm pretty sure, because that's when I made the holotar dance. I think before that it was just like the epic door maze, and that was just like few people were talking about it, but the holotar dance, like holy crap, so many people were like coming up to me and saying so many good things. I don't know, just, that contest in general was just like a great moment because like I honestly didn't think I was gonna win much. I was mainly just focused on the holotar award, and then when I saw it, like I literally jumped up and started running of how happy I was.
All right, we have DJ Chris over here. He's got one.
First, I got
A question for.
Go ahead.
Can you send my friend request? Thank you.
No, stop. I need the mic.
Wait,
Give me back the
button.
mic. We're asking questions to MoodyMarlo right now.
Okay. So. Oh.
Okay. See here. If you have a question, instead of going around with the mic right now because there's so many people in here, I'm going to ask that everyone, if you have a question, just type it in the chat, in the room chat. And don't spam the room chat or I will kick you from the room. All right, if you have a question, type it in the chat. Type what your question is in the chat. No.
I have not played the VR. What's my opinion on PvPs? Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of them because, I mean, they're cool. Some of them are. I know most of them are just kind of like spawn in, grab a gun, shoot, and just spawn back in and all that, which is okay, I guess. But I like things that have like an end goal. But yeah, it's alright. What sort of things do you make in Rec Room? Uh, story rooms, stuff that focuses on storytelling, stuff with holotars. I tend to make some kind of puzzles occasionally, but oh, what is your wow, everything's typing. What is your number one wait, where'd it go?
What would be your number one
Your
request for a
favorite
UGC tool? That was one of the questions. What would be your number one request for a UGC tool?
I have no idea, honestly.
And then what was your favorite story that you've ever made?
That would be for Emily.
That was a great room.
Yeah. That one isn't really known, I believe. Like all my rooms have like there's a bunch of visits, but For Emily is definitely the lower one. But the reason why I love that one so much is because it's personally about my cousin who I just love deeply. So it's like I made that like as like a tribute to her, and it's I don't know, it's just very very personal to me, and that's why I love it so much.
Okay, and then we had one that was and actually I can't scroll up, and there's a lot of there are things popping up in here. One was that what was is it good to have a group when building custom rooms? Do you feel that that's something that you should have, or do you prefer solo?
It depends. For me personally, since I don't build or do circuits, it's kind of important for me to have people to work with because, like, I can't really make the room without them. It's just a problem with me. But I mean, it's honestly on depends on your personal taste.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely feel like working solo will definitely make you grow skill wise, but also working with other people, you have a huge chance of learning things that you had never had a chance to know. So
Okay.
there's definitely some positives and negatives for either one.
Marisa asked, "Are you going to have another dance room?" You've gone. I've lost audio. Are you talking, Marla? I can't. I think you might have just lost the roll. Hold on. And so did I, apparently, because I don't think you can hear me. What happened? Did he crash? I think we crashed. Yeah, I think everything just crashed. We just lost audio. Can you guys hear me right now? I lost all my rolls. Wonderful. Well, I think we just lost everything for those that are on the stream and can still hear me. So I'm going to have to end the stream right here because we don't have anything. Thanks for tuning in though, and thanks again to MoodyMarlo for joining us for this.